Hello, and welcome back to Bombchu. I'm Tyler, and it's November, which means it's time to talk about all the games that were added to Game Pass in October. So what was added in October? Well, 23 games, and I played them all but one, so stay tuned for a special guest appearance from your friend and my friend, Austin. Now let's jump in. Microsoft did indeed add some spooky games for October. Visage is a first-person psychological horror game where you explore a house that changes as you lose your sanity. As someone who isn't a big fan of horror games that don't give you a weapon of some sort, I was super scared playing this game. I made sure to schedule my gameplay in the middle of the day just because of how scared I was. I'm not saying this is going to give everyone that big of a scare, but as someone who couldn't play RE7 but loved RE8, I was definitely not looking forward to this one. If you were a fan of PT or RE7 was right up your alley, I would recommend giving this a try. But for scaredy cats like me, you may want to pass. Now, if you're looking for a spooky game where you can fight back, Alan Wake's American Nightmare was added to Game Pass. If you haven't played anything from Remedy Entertainment before, I would highly recommend checking out our Video Game Club episode of Control to get a feel for their style. Alan Wake's American Nightmare is a separate but somewhat connected experience from the original Alan Wake. You play as Alan Wake, a writer who is fighting against Mr. Scratch, a doppelganger of yourself. Similar to the original Alan Wake, you use a flashlight to slow down and weaken your enemies, before shooting them with an assortment of firearms. This game is really solid and a great one to come to Game Pass during October. Speaking of an assortment of firearms, another spooky game was added this month as a Day 1 title. Back 4 Blood is a very worthy successor to the Left 4 Dead series. It brings all the things loved about the series into the modern era. It has everything that you would want: 4-player co-op campaign, PvP mode, great weapons, and an interesting card-based progression system to keep you coming back for more. The hub can be a bit confusing at first, and the game throws a lot of new mechanics at you, but overall it's pretty solid. This is a great one to play with friends, and I would definitely recommend it if you are a fan of the Left 4 Dead series. Another Day 1 title added to Game Pass was Ring of Pain. Ring of Pain is another roguelike card game. These games are super hot right now, but I'm surprised that every month it seems like another one is added. This one does have a unique mechanic though, which I found pretty interesting. In Ring of Pain, you are presented with a randomly generated ring dungeon, where you can choose which direction of the ring you want to fight. One direction may have loot but an unexpected enemy, and another side may be closer to the exit, so that you can proceed deeper into the dungeon. This mechanic was welcomed, as it gave me more choice on how I wanted to handle a specific run. Don't let this make you think this game is a breeze though. I was having quite a tough time, but did make it further every run, as I started to understand more of the game. Oh yeah, and it has a really creepy vibe to it if you are into that sort of thing. Microsoft did deliver on shooters in October. We got quite the variety as well. Into the Pit is a fast-paced, retro roguelite FPS where instead of guns, you use magic. This is another Day 1 title added to Game Pass. As you fight through the pit, you will save villagers, which allow you to unlock permanent upgrades for future runs. Each level of the pit features 8 rooms with different rewards, where you must pick 4 to unlock access to the next level. After finishing a room, you are given an upgrade to your current abilities, allowing you to become a bit stronger to deal with future rooms. This game was really fun, and had a great variety with every run. I'm really interested to see where it goes, and will definitely be playing more. Battlefield 4 was added to Cloud in October for Game Pass, very similar to how Battlefield 1 was added to Cloud last month. My stance really hasn't changed either. This is a great way to experience the campaign of these games, and I really enjoyed the campaign of Battlefield 4, but I would not recommend playing multiplayer this way at all. It's definitely possible to play multiplayer over the cloud, but it's not a great experience in my opinion. 2 looter shooters were added to Game Pass in October. Destiny 2 Beyond Light was added to PC. I'm not the biggest Destiny 2 fan, nor am I up to date on the current expansion or meta, but I am quite a fan of Bungie. The shooting in their games just feels great. Beyond Light was the 5th expansion added to Destiny 2, and was released roughly a year ago. It includes a new campaign, new activities, and new PvE content. This is the most recently released expansion, with the Witch Queen coming in February. If you haven't checked out Destiny 2 yet, this may be a great time to play through all the newest content before February. If first-person shooters aren't your thing, a third-person one was added to Game Pass in October. Outriders is a third-person co-op RPG shooter developed by the company that made Bulletstorm, People Can Fly, and published by Square Enix of all companies. This game had pretty mediocre reviews at launch, but from what I played it seems pretty good. I wasn't expecting a lot going in, but it checked all the boxes and was a really good time solo. I would recommend checking it out, but don't be afraid to put it down if it doesn't click right away. Maybe you are looking for a less traditional game with strong shooting mechanics. If so, Non-Guns Doppelganger Edition was added to Game Pass in October, and man, is this one strange. I've always seen this game around, but never tried it myself until this video, and it's a strange one. You play as a skeleton who explores a dungeon and kills everything in sight. As you shoot your gun, you gain points, which can be spent at a shrine to do something. I'm not quite sure what all the mechanics do yet, and the game purposely doesn't tell you. It's one of those games that you figure out as you go. This game isn't for the faint of heart. It's super tough, and I died many, many times. But despite all the dying, I had a good time and found the platform mechanics really great. I plan on playing more of this game just to uncover what this game is all about. If turn-based tactical shooters are more your jam, Phoenix Point was added to Game Pass this month. This game was added to PC as a day one title at launch, but it's nice to see this one come to console. If you aren't familiar with Phoenix Point, it's in the same vein as XCOM with some minor differences. The big difference is that Phoenix Point adds a free aim system, which means that you can target certain body parts of your enemy. Don't want your enemy to move anymore? Shoot their legs. Getting frustrated with their weapon? Shoot their sniper rifle in their hands. It's an interesting mechanic that adds fresh taste to the very familiar genre. If that sounds interesting to you, give it a shot. Get it? Shot? I'll see myself out. Dragon Ball FighterZ, Dragon Ball FighterZ, one of those, was added to Game Pass in October. I'm not big on fighting games or Dragon Ball Z, but Austin is. Here's what he had to say about it.
Dragon Ball FighterZ is a fighting game from developer Arc System Works, known for the highly respected Guilty Gear and BlazBlue series. As a fan of Dragon Ball Z and someone who struggles with most fighting games that aren't called Super Smash Bros., I was worried about this game being a struggle for me outside of maybe learning the standard moves for a handful of characters and never swapping again. However, much like Smash Bros., FighterZ is pretty easy to learn enough to go and have a good time, as long as you aren't going up against veterans online. You have a basic set of controls you can use across different characters, and while their moves behave differently, you won't be stuck trying to figure out how to pull off one of your special moves while you're trying out a new character for the first time. Fights are fast, with punches and kicks knocking opponents high into the air, and the ability to fly at high speeds allowing you to close the gap quickly to keep inflicting damage. To balance this out, each side will have 3 characters, similar to Marvel vs. Capcom. You can let damaged characters sit on the bench and heal for a while, or have characters waiting in the back come in and use assist moves. The fight is only over when one side loses all 3 characters, or the timer runs out. There's a story mode centered around a brand new character called Android 21, with some RPG mechanics where you level up and earn passive skills and items that you can use for an edge in battle. And you can also take these skills that you earn into major online boss battles with a couple of friends. And of course, there are online arenas to really test your skills. But whether you're a hardcore fighter or just want to have some fun in the campaign or arcade modes, this is a super fun fighter, and an especially good DBZ game with great respect paid towards the visual style, the ability to swap between English and Japanese voices, and tons of little Easter eggs to find. If you like fighting games, or you like Dragon Ball Z, and especially if you like both, and you somehow haven't tried Fighters yet, now is an excellent time.
Thanks, Austin. This next game is something different. The Procession to Calvary is an adventure game where you journey through a richly detailed landscape built from hundreds of different Renaissance paintings. The Holy War just ended, but you still have the thirst for blood. During the introduction, you learn about a person named Peter, who you are allowed to kill despite the Holy War being over. You start your adventure by hunting down Peter to get your last fix of blood. This game is very entertaining, and I laughed out loud more than once. I don't typically enjoy traditional point-and-click adventure games, but this one was an exception for sure. The next 6 games were all added to Game Pass on day 1. I don't know how Microsoft keeps doing this, but I'm here for it. The newest title from Swery, famous for the Deadly Premonition series called The Good Life, came to Game Pass. This game's introduction leads you to believe that this will be a very chill life sim, but there's more than meets the eye. I'm not going to spoil the story, but I will say it goes places. A mechanic that I found really interesting in this game was photography. Your character is equipped with a camera, and you can upload pictures you take to an Instagram-like service where you are paid money based on likes. If your picture meets the current trending hashtags, you are rewarded with more likes, and therefore more money. It's a really engaging concept, and I'm looking forward to seeing how crazy this story gets. I'll definitely be playing more of this one. The Riftbreaker is an action RPG survival game with base building elements. You play the role of a soldier in a mech suit capable of traveling through, you guessed it, rifts. These rifts take you to unexplored planets where you must build up a base to survive. The habitants of the planet aren't too happy about you coming to suck all their resources, so naturally, they attack you. You must defend your base with turrets and walls. I'm a big fan of base building mechanics, and this game really scratched that itch for me. I'm excited to see where this goes, and we'll be playing a bit more before putting it down. Project Wingman, which was already on Game Pass for PC, was added to console. It's a very challenging yet really fun arcade-style flight action. You control a jet while going on missions, defending or destroying objectives. This game can be quite tough and warns you that there are no checkpoints in a mission. I died at the very end of a mission, even after seeing the mission accomplished text, and I was beyond frustrated. Not sure I will go back to this one, but it's there for the dogfighters out there. Maybe you're looking for another sim, but doing something a bit more chill, like fishing. If so, Bassmaster Fishing 2022 is here for you. I'm honestly shocked that they are making a fishing sim, but here we are. I played it and it's okay. The controls could be a bit more intuitive, and the tutorial is very long, but it's a fishing game. You drive your boat to a spot, you catch the fish, then you weigh in the fish. It doesn't look half bad either. I'm not super big on fishing sims and prefer fishing IRL, but winter is about to start, so maybe this will scratch that itch in the next coming months. Backbone is a post-noir narrative adventure game where you play as a private eye named Howard, who is a raccoon. Oh yeah, and all the animals in this game are anthropomorphic. The story starts with an otter who comes to your office as she is concerned about her husband. You'll explore the city to uncover what really happened to her husband, which is pretty dark. This game is f***ing gorgeous. Easily one of the most beautiful pixel art games that I have seen in my lifetime. The lighting, the style, just all of it is so good. But how is the game? Well, it's not a game that I usually enjoy, to be honest, and I wasn't that into it, but I'm also not a huge adventure game fan. If you like adventure games, play this. But also if you just want to see something beautiful, look in the mirror. But also, play this game. Now it's time for Tyler's Top Picks, brought to you by me, Tyler. These are in no particular order, but are just games that really stood out to me, and that I think everyone should give a chance. If you only have time to check out a few games, I would highly recommend these. It's finally here, Age of Empires 4. I'm a huge fan of Age of Empires. I played way too much 1 and 2. I can safely say that Age of Empires is back. I felt right at home with this installment. The game features a campaign, skirmishes, multiplayer, and a new mode called Art of War, which places you in challenging scenarios, such as seeing how fast you can advance from the Dark Age to the Feudal Age, with a faster time granting you a medal based on speed. I definitely plan on playing a lot more of this. Now let's just hope that they use this engine to make Age of Mythology 2. A game that started off as a popular Skyrim mod of the same name, The Forgotten City, is one to definitely not sleep on. This game is a mystery adventure game with time loop mechanics. You can definitely see that this game has its roots in Skyrim. The music, character animations, the dialogue options, and the controls. It's very Skyrim-like, but this game is also very unique. The story they are telling is something special, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds. Definitely one to check out if you were a fan of Eastshade, or love the Skyrim vibe but want more story. I'm a big life sim fan. I used to play Harvest Moon on Super Nintendo when I was younger all the time. I just bought Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town, and even played the Doraemon spin-off from time to time. So you bet your bottom dollar I was hyped for Moonglow Bay. This game is a relaxing fishing RPG taking place in Canada during the 1980s. So far from what I have played, I adore this game. The story is intriguing, the fishing mechanic is solid, the way that you cook reminds me of the Fable 2 minigames, but better. This game is a blast so far, and I'm definitely going to play this one all the way through. I highly recommend this to any Stardew Valley Harvest Moon fan, or someone that just wants a game to wind down for the night. This next game is a very hilarious puzzle game with ragdoll physics. In Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, you create an army to take down the opposition and watch as madness unfolds. The army's unit themes range from medieval to feudal Japan to everything in between. The way that the characters behave and some of the way units die is just laugh out loud ridiculous. Not only do you pick the units, but you can also control them. Well, attempt to. I just barely scratched the surface of this game, but we'll be playing more, if not just for the giggles. I'm not the biggest space flying sim fan. I'm just not very good, but Everspace 2 is starting to change my mind. This game was added to Game Pass in Game Preview, which is essentially Microsoft's version of Early Access, and to be fair, there is a lot missing in this game, but the foundation of what I played was solid. The controls, the sounds, story, the missions, all of it, just a very great experience. If you're hesitant to check it out, please just give it a try and let us know what you think. I was hesitant at first, but am really digging this one. Well, that's it. That was an overview of Game Pass for October. Every single game that came to Game Pass in one way or another. What did you think? It's really nice that we got so many games added day one, and there's definitely a little something for everyone in there. Personally, I'm really looking forward to November and December, with Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite. I'm also curious what other games they will sprinkle in. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and please let us know how you liked this video by leaving a comment. See you next month!